how important do you think it is that the Browns go and draft a running back, and who do you like in that draft class?
Well, for me, there is so much talk from everybody about the wide receiver, and with the addition of Elijah Moore, you now have Donovan Peoples-Jones, you have Amari Cooper, and you have Elijah Moore. How many reps are these guys not going to be on the field? So you have Marquise Goodwin, you have David Bell, and look, I think the Browns, obviously, the scenario is for those guys to be the fill-in pieces. Even though it was just 1 year for David Bell, they're going to give him a second year. Then you have about 5-6 guys fighting for maybe wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6 on this roster. That's not going to be guaranteed reps, nor is it going to be guaranteed that you're even going to play. You're going to dress to play on game days. Where I look at the running back position, and look, Nick Chubb, you want to play all the way up until the Super Bowl. You can't have Nick Chubb go out and tote the rock 20 to 25 times every week and then expect him to be remotely close, to effective in January. It's not a realistic thought. And that is not counting the fact that he misses time. Look, Jerome Ford, if you think Jerome Ford is it, that's great. But you only have 8 carries from last season. So there's no way anybody is winning the debate on whether or not Jerome Ford can step up and be a meaningful running back for this team. We don't know. There's no proof either way. But the other thing is, if we're losing Nick Chubb, and even if it's a limited amount of time, I don't believe anybody believes that just one guy is going to come in and give you what Nick does. You're going to need somebody to handle the running aspect of it. Now, who's going to do the stuff when you actually take Nick Chubb off the field and maybe have a running back who can be involved in the passing game? That guy is not necessarily on the roster. Look, Tyjae Spears, I would love to bring in Tyjae Spears. Tough player, him on the offensive side of the ball, teammate Dorian Williams on the defensive side of the ball. They carried that team. I know somebody who plays on the Tulane, team currently. They rave about the type of leaders they are, and those are the kind of guys you want to bring into a clubhouse. There are other guys though. Sean Tucker out of Syracuse. It appears his medical, issue is, at least cleared enough where he was able to have a pro day yesterday. Benched 29 times, same amount of number Nick Chubb did back in the combine back in the day. Former 55-meter sprint champion, 100-meter sprint champion, 200-meter sprint champion. So he didn't run yesterday timed-wise. I think that's okay when you have that as in your background as well. He can contribute in the receiving game. Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia, another guy who's probably maybe a little bit better receiver than he is an actual runner of the football. These are guys the Browns need to look at because it's not so much you're looking at life after Nick Chubb. And look, to be smart, you probably are thinking somewhere along that line. But the fact is, if something happens to Nick Chubb, it's going to take at least 2 running backs to replace him.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I like what I saw from Ford, but a real limited sample size. Let's take a look.
And there's one last thing. Everybody universally thinks that this is a really, really good running back class. Everybody universally thinks this isn't such a great wide receiver class. So I'm not going to chase the wide receiver who most likely is not going to play for me anyway.